You as well, man. So what's your name? Dapper or is it Theo? What is it?
That's just the name I use on my email. My name is Theo.
All right, man. Let's start. So what are you looking to do? What's going on?
Okay, so I know you've been doing like vacation rentals and stuff, and I think that's like so awesome. And I've been like looking into it recently. I don't really have the capital to do like, maybe like a on the beach property or anything like that. So I've been looking at mobile homes and stuff kind of close to the beach. And I
Yep.
found this one in Sarasota right by Siesta Key. You saw it on Zoom.
Yep.
And it's pretty cheap. It's pretty cheap. So I'm wondering what you think about that. Like, I don't know if you like looked at the details or anything, but it looks all right. It doesn't really look like it has much wrong with it. Like, I wouldn't have to do any kind of rehabbing or anything like that. The driveway looked like it didn't look like, that terrible, like broken or anything, but that's the one thing that I noticed on there that, would have maybe had to been fixed. I don't know. I would just like your take on it.
Yeah, no, I took a look at the link that you sent over. It looked like it's already been remodeled and rehabbed.
Yeah.
It looks in pretty good shape. What was your intention on what you wanted to do with it? I know you mentioned maybe short-term rentals with it.
See, now that I've been thinking about it, I don't think short-term rentals will work because it's a 55 plus. I think you made a video on that or something. Um, but because it's a 55 plus, I wouldn't see that working as well as just the, all ages, vacation rental. I'd love to have one of those. But this one, I think maybe I could do a long term. You think that might be possible?
Well, there's multiple factors to take into consideration.
Mhm.
You can't. It just depends on the association. So, have you inquired with the owner or the actual mobile home park to find out what the restrictions are for short term rentals?
No, not yet. It doesn't seem like just looking at some of their pictures and stuff and some of the stuff about because I looked up some of their information. They didn't have anything specifically on that. I should have called them. But they didn't really have. It seemed like it was just a retiree community. You know. So,
Yeah.
but I think I could probably rent it out. I should have looked into it, but I would think that I could rent it out as a long term. That's all I'm assuming. Uh,
So that's what you don't want to do in this business. You don't want to
okay.
assume. You don't want to assume anything. And that's kind of why I wanted to get you on the phone here and talk you through this. Do you live in the Sarasota area?
Yeah, yeah. I live just on the the border of it in Bradenton. So
Cool.
just in between right there.
So close enough to go drive over there and check it out, right?
Yeah.
Have
I've
you
just been
been
kind of yeah.
have you been through the park before?
No, because it's a good 40 minutes away, and I've been kind of busy. I have like a kind of schedule that I do because I'm in school as well, and
Cool.
I'm just about done. Honestly, next week is my last week, I think, at my school. I go to the State College of Florida, like right around the corner over here, and that's really what I've been doing. I've been working every day, and then like after work, I'll either go to the gym or I'll do my homework, and then I'm like, okay, well it's like 40 minutes away, so
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, well I don't want to go there and not have a tour ready, so I've really been procrastinating on that.
That's
Yeah, to be honest with you.
No, I appreciate your honesty. I mean, procrastination is the thing that gets all of us. What are you going to school for?
I'm just getting my associate's degree right now,
Good.
but as soon as possible, I want to like invest in real estate.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, that mobile home, I looked at it, doesn't include the land, so you're basically have a lot rent, and the lot rent
Yeah,
was like 800 something. It's pretty high, but the area is fantastic. I don't
yeah,
know, these are all the details that you'd have to find out. So I would, call. It looked like that was a for sale by owner. So just don't be afraid to get on the phone and call. You don't, who cares about the 40-minute drive right now? Call and talk to the owner and find out what are the restrictions, and can you rent it out? And are you able to do short-term rentals on the property? If it's long-term rentals only, does he know what it could rent out for if you did rent it out? And it looks like that the for sale by owner, it looks like he's got another one somewhere else, because it showed on Zillow that he had another property. It looked comparable, another mobile home. So what I think that guy's doing is, I think he's going in and buying them and fixing them up and then flipping them, and he's probably picking them up really cheap.
Yeah.
And he might be, you should take a look at the video I did on mobile home investing with no money.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, I think that guy might have an in with some of these mobile home park managers, and he might be getting these distressed units, maybe even for free. And then putting money into it. That one you sent, he did a really good job of, or whoever it is, they did a really good job of remodeling inside. But if you can get into that game as well, and then renting them out or flipping them, it's a low cost, low risk way to get into that field. But the $800 a month is pretty killer, because that, if you're trying to make I think the price on the thing was 20 grand, right?
Yeah.
So if he's trying to make a $10,000 profit after everything, you can't hold on to that property for too long, because that $800 just eats into your profit. So those are things that you really have to calculate out. Another thing is, I would, once you find a property that maybe makes sense, then preliminarily put it out on Craigslist. Go and get your own pictures after you've reviewed them. Take pictures of them and put them out on Craigslist and get a feel for the market. So you put it out there, and let's say you put it out there at $1,500 a month, and you're getting these inquiries, then it might make sense for an $800 monthly fee, because then you can get the spread on it.
So I'm allowed to do that? That's not like, something just illegal or anything?
No, I mean, I would probably, if you're in negotiations or talks with the owner, you can ask permission, say, look, I want to do this as an investment, and I want to buy these and rent them out. And I'd like to get an idea of the market, and I'd like to put it out there. Are you okay with me doing that? And maybe even having a tenant lined up by the time we actually close the deal. You may want to look into other more economical mobile home parks where, you can get a cheap mobile home, and maybe the lot rent is $200 or $300 a month.
Okay.
And then try to rent that thing for like $700-800 a month and get that spread.
Yeah. And then your profit would be like 400 maybe, or would you be paying like a management company some of it?
No, I mean, this is something that you'd have to manage on your own. You want to get the experience of managing it on your own. So yeah, I mean, if the lot rents 300 and you rent for 7, you got a $400 a month spread there. You might have to put a little bit of work into it to spruce it up. And also, you could also owner finance. Let's say you pick up a trailer for a couple grand, maybe fix it up a little bit to make it somewhat livable, throw some paint on it, give it a good cleaning. You could potentially owner finance the actual structure. So let's say you're all in on a structure for $3,000, and then you sell it owner finance that structure, just like if I were to sell you a car and you made payments to me, same kind of situation, and you sold that trailer, you picked it up all in $2,500, you sold it for $5,000 and collected a premium on top of it for lot rent, then you could start having some side income come in. The big thing though is, you mentioned procrastination, is you got to get out, you got to get on the phones and start calling people. You got to educate yourself on what's going on in that area. You're going to run into a lot of properties that are just not going to make sense. You're going to call a seller and he's going to be like, no, lot rent's $800, and people are on fixed income, and you might be able to rent it for $900, and then that's just not worth it. That's a little that's a little
Yeah.
sketchy, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
So my next step is to make calls and get out there and kind of look at the market if I can.
get on Craigslist, man. There's a couple of videos on my channel about mobile home parks, and
Yeah.
I actually went through and showed. I think it was a park in Lakeland or something,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a cheap mobile home. But if you get on Craigslist in your area and just type mobile homes and see what comes up, you might find just really run down mobile homes that might have potential. And then once you make a presence inside some of these parks and get in and go talk to the manager, you know, do you guys know anybody that needs to get rid of a mobile home quickly where
Yeah.
I can come in, pay cash, and then start making you lot rent payment, and then my plan is to rent it out.
Okay.
And the thing is, with a lot of these managers in the parks, they have their pulse on it. They have their thumb on the pulse, where they know what's going on within these parks. They know, you know, lot 27, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they're not paying their lot rent and they're about to be evicted, and they're going to have to give up their structure as well. So
Okay.
you might be able to even help those people out in a sense, you know, or you might be able to buy that structure from the park manager.
Okay. And then try to fix it up myself and tell them, hey, I'll pay for this lot rent if you give it to me for free or something like that.
Yeah.
Or discount. Yeah. Okay.
There are parks out there that you could absolutely get the structure for free if you know, if you're proving yourself to these park managers or owners. Some of them are mom and pop owners. They don't want to deal with the structures, so
Yeah.
they want to sell the structures and just collect their lot rent. And you come in and you're like, look, here's what I can do for you guys. Give me an opportunity. Let me test run just one mobile home that I can get from you guys cheap or for free. The
Yeah.
curb, I'm gonna make the curb appeal, the outside look great. I'm gonna, you know, paint the inside, paint the outside, landscaping, all this kind of stuff, and then obviously deliver on it
Yeah.
and say, you know, if I do this, can we start the lot rent in May? So
Okay.
maybe you could buy some time, and as you're fixing it up, you got it out on Craigslist saying mobile home for rent for $750, and maybe that lot
Oh, yeah.
rent's 300, and you're collecting that spread. That's the
Yeah.
that's the in my opinion, the cheapest, least risk way to get into investing into real estate. And I know other investors, and I've worked with them and sold actual entire mobile home parks, and investors were in these parks. And some of these guys that are doing that, they never own any of the land. They just own the structures. They collect that
Mhm.
spread. And I know some of these guys that have hundreds of units, and I
Wow.
mean, do 100 times, you know, a spread
Like,
of $300.
yeah.
It's
That's
big.
crazy.
It adds
Yeah.
up to big money for sure. And,
Monthly.
and now you
That's
got
crazy.
there's a lot of headaches associated with it, but
Hmm.
name some real estate that doesn't have a lot of headaches. You know, one thing that I think a lot of people need to understand too is you're providing affordable housing,
Yeah.
and that's not going anywhere. That's not going anywhere, man. Especially when inflation kicks in and gas. You're seeing gas go higher, right? Gas
For sure.
prices,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
People are getting squeezed, so people are going to need more affordable housing. And if you're providing that option, your phone will ring a lot when you're providing these properties for rent.
Right. Right. Right.
But
So that.
you got to make the calls, man. You got to go drive around these parks on a Saturday when instead of, you know, hanging out your buddies or whatever, you got to go through these parks and see if you can find any for sale signs sitting in the window, or go in and
Yeah.
talk to the park managers and say, "Hey, this is what I'm doing."
Hmm.
And Theo, when you do
Yeah.
your first one, you're going to get that confidence. You're going to be like, "Damn. All
Yeah.
right. I see it. I
Okay.
see how this game goes." You're gonna have
Yeah.
failures, you know, you're gonna run into issues and failures, but that's all part of the learning curve, man. If you search mobile homes on Craigslist under like $5,000, that's going to lead you to the appropriate parks.
Okay.
So then you just call that owner and say, hey, I want to come out and meet with you and take a look at your structure. When's a good time?
Mm-hmm.
But ask, what the lot rent is. That's the biggest thing. What's the lot rent? What are you asking on it? If the structure's in good shape, maybe he or she will hold financing on it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any capital to work with?
I've got some.
So even people that are watching this, if you don't have capital and somebody wants $3,000 for the structure, offer them, tell them your plan,
mm-hmm.
right? Say you're going to take this property off their hands and you're going to assume that lot rent now, which that's what they want to get rid of. And you'll pay them $100 a month for the next X amount of months until the $3,000 is paid off.
Okay. I see what you mean. So that's what I've been doing.
You have to figure that into your equation as well. What can you rent it for minus that owner financing deal minus lot rent? And do you have enough of a spread there where it makes sense?
And so when it comes to actually like fixing up the place, because if I'm buying it that low, then I'm gonna have to fix it myself.
Yeah.
You think I'd be able to do something like that?
Why wouldn't you?
I mean, I've never done anything like that before, but
have you ever painted?
Yeah.
So you start there, clean, paint. Look, if you're not making mistakes, then you're not doing what you should be doing.
I'm not learning.
You're not learning. You're not gonna get ahead.
Yeah.
Everybody's got to go out and make these mistakes. So, you'll learn a lot just by getting on the phones, meeting an owner at a mobile home, looking at it, getting all their numbers together, going and talking to the manager and building a rapport. Like we're talking, you reached out to me for this call, right?
Yeah.
That's the first step, man. Congratulations. Cause a lot of people, they're afraid to reach out to people. That's part of the game. You gotta call people every day, or on the weekends, you dedicate X amount of hours to just getting on the phones and calling people and going to these parks.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want it, there's nothing that's going to stop you besides you.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a ton. I mean, I guess there's a ton around that I can look at. Like I saw some in, what was it called? Like maybe, I know Sun City like Center. That area, there's a ton over there. So like, I guess I have a lot of opportunity because those are only like maybe like an hour away, maybe like 40 minutes away, just like this other park.
Yeah, start close to you and expand out.
Yeah,
you might have to start one. And the thing that was cool about that strategy, and I've sold several parks up in St. Petersburg as well, and there's a ton of opportunity there.
Wow. Like whole park?
Yeah, entire mobile home parks. Yeah.
Wow.
And the lot rents on those at the time, I think they're like maybe like $250, $300. So if you got in and you bought certain structures, and the rent on those were like $750, somewhere around there. It's good spread. But the cool thing is, once you get into one park, right, and you kind of make a name for yourself and you're in with the park manager, then you can start picking up another one and another one. And then eventually your hour drive to that park, you're visiting 3 properties that are bringing you $300 a pop per month. Now it's $900 a month.
Okay.
And that's passively, but you still got to, oversee your properties and everything else. When it comes to construction, do you have a job right now, like on the side or anything?
Yeah, I'm just cleaning right now. I clean condos. And that's really, I don't really have much like experience in construction, but I was watching a few other YouTube like videos about like real estate, and maybe it was yours where they were saying like YouTube University, everything.
Yeah, but you got to
what I
get
mean?
out and you got to get out and do. You know, I'm not going to learn the game of football just by watching it on the TV. You know what I mean? I got
Yeah.
to get out there and get tackled and throw the ball and catch the ball. You know what I mean? So you got to get out there
Yeah.
and you got to get out there and do. Another recommendation for you is see if you can get a side job with another house flipper. You know, see,
Yeah.
you drive around, you see some of these houses with some dumpsters out front. Go and approach. If you find maybe the owner or the manager or whatever, go approach them.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, I'm hungry to help out, and if there's anything I can do, I'm eager to learn. And
Okay.
I mean, again, it's putting yourself out there. If you can get a side gig working for somebody flipping houses, maybe a builder, a small builder, maybe a painting company to start learning the ropes, maybe a framing company, like try to get a part-time gig doing that and start learning some of the aspects of construction, because you do want to get your hands dirty and do it yourself in the beginning, because a lot of people that don't really know construction that get into it, they don't know the prices of
Yeah.
things and everything else, and then they eventually get taken advantage of, and that's not a position you want to be in. Plus,
Yeah.
it's sweat equity. You know, if you're cleaning and painting and doing some landscaping and that's all you need to do on the unit, that's not gonna cost you a lot of money if you're doing it yourself.
Really?
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
Paint's cheap. I mean, you're cleaning right now, you know how to clean. That's good. So, and then digging some holes and putting some fresh landscaping, fresh mulch down. I mean,
yeah.
and you know, a lot of like Home Depots and Lowe's, if you go to those places and just talk to some of the people in the landscaping section, or even any of those departments there's a lot of people that love their trades and they work at Home Depot or Lowe's because they like helping people out, but they have a lot of experience in those specific trades. So they'll educate you on the types of plants to use, the type of materials to use. I mean, I can tell you, I've been to Lowe's and Home Depot countless times speaking to very intelligent employees about electrical work. And that's something you don't want to mess up, because you can fry your ass.
Yeah, for sure.
And I've learned so much from personnel at a Lowe's or a Home Depot. There's so many different stores out there, remodel stores that have a bunch of used materials that you can shop at to even bring your prices down even lower. I mean, you can get discount paint, you can get discount materials, windows, doors, everything at a lot of these places. So, and get on Craigslist again, type in, if you need a new front door, type in used front door, you know?
On Craigslist.
Oh, yeah. So I suggest start with that, man. Get on Craigslist, search for cheap mobile homes, call the owners, ask what their price is, ask what the lot rent is, and if it's a decent park, ask if they'll do terms, meaning owner finance the deal for you if you don't have a lot of cash to buy it outright from the person. And if it sounds good, set a meeting and go to the park. If you do 5 of those a week in a month's time, you'll probably have your first deal. Probably even quicker than that. But I can't do that for you, and I'm not going to do that for you.
I understand. Thank you so much. I'm so appreciative of you even like answering my email. I didn't think you would.